Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well today. Good to see everybody. I always start the live and then I start looking at my hair and thinking how bad it looks. But glad for all of you to be here with me this morning. Always nice to chat a little bit as the start of the week, and I appreciate everybody that stops by to do that. I'm not able to be outside today. It's too cold outside. We've been down in the 20s and all for several days, and I think several days the rest of this week we're going to be. So too cold for me to be on the porch this morning. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. If you watched our video last night, you could have a peek at our Thanksgiving and see how it went. It was really a nice Thanksgiving and nice to be together with family. And of course, there's a lot of good food, but a lot of good fellowship too. And our family is really growing. So wonderful to see the little ones, some of them able to run around, some of them too little to run around yet. But next year, there'll be lots of little feet running around by this time next year. So really nice for everybody to be together. And I know that Granny really enjoyed it too, and she had a good time. Got to be here. It's interesting. Last night in the video, we had shared just different little pieces of the leading up to Thanksgiving too, and Matt was saying how much he loved the canned cranberry sauce, and that he didn't apologize. Said, "I just want to apologize for it. I love it." For many years, Miss Cindy would make, cranberry sauce, which I thought was really good. Me and Granny especially liked it, but it had different things in it. And the cranberries were more, you could still tell it was a cranberry. Anyway, she just couldn't understand why Matt would prefer the canned, but he did. But the interesting thing to us as we read the comments last night and this morning was that so many of you said same thing, said same, Matt, same. I love the canned. I think a lot of times like those kind of things really get, uh, it's what you grow up with, and it gets to be part of your tradition and part of your taste buds, what you like. I've shared over and over, but I'll share it again, that I've had older people tell me that, especially one gentleman comes to mind, that when he was young, he was, times were hard and there wasn't much to eat, and they had a giant family, really big family, and that his mother would often make cornbread for supper. Sometimes that's all they had was cornbread, and they might have a little honey or sorghum to put on it, and that was it. And um, but now, time's way better, and he was a successful man and, had plenty and all that, but that's what he wanted. That's what he liked. That was his comfort food, because it took him back to those days that when they didn't have very much. And anyway, interesting to think about food and how it connects us and connects to our memories too, especially. I had a question during one of the parts of the video about one of the parts, and I don't know if Jean is watching, but Jean asked me if I could tell what kind of stick that I was using to do the rolls with. I brought it downstairs with me. This is it's a Danish whisk is what it's called, and I had never even heard of this, didn't know anything about it. But a dear sweet lady brought this to me as a gift. Actually, she brought one for Corey as well, and Granny too. I think she brought three of them. She brought it to one of my cookbook signings and gifted it to us, and said it was really, really great for stirring up batters. She was exactly right. It is any kind of bread that you're making. It really, really works well, especially like with those yeast bread. So it's a Danish whisk. That's what I was using. Excuse me. Sorry for the cough. So I wanted to answer that. I'm not sure if she's watching, but I'll try to mention it in another video too, to make sure that she gets that information. Everybody's doing well. We're all still enjoying the leftovers from Thanksgiving. And, Corey last week got to stay with us, which I know for a lot of people sounds silly. She just lives right down the hill, but we really enjoyed her and Woodrow being with us. Austin went hunting with his daddy on a hunting trip, so that's kind of their tradition. So he was gone, so Corey just stayed with us. She'd go home every day during the day usually, but she'd come back and spend the night, and we just had the best time. We teased last night, when she was leaving, how much we was gonna miss her and Woodrow. And Austin was here by then too. He'd come home and he ate supper with us, and it was just really, really nice to have her here. And especially the boys together, we loved that. So we had a really good time with that, and everybody's doing good. Another thing I wanted to mention, someone told me about, let's see, it was Laby Angel 4497 shared this in one of our recent videos, and I had never even heard of it. So thank you so very much. It was actually where I was. Let's see if I can find the link to share with you. I was talking about my favorite. My favorite seed companies that I used, and I said M.I. Gardner was a great one because it was so affordable. Well, Laby Angel there shared this one with me. It's in North Carolina too, which is great. Alliance of Native Seed Keepers, and it also has those wonderful cheaper prices. So check that out. I didn't really get to dig in much on that site, but I'm going to. But I just looked at a few of the vegetable pages, and it looked like a great site. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I hope everybody else enjoys visiting it too. This week at our house, we have planned, I have another hominy video for you, so you can be on the lookout for that. Making hominy, using it to make something else. And then I hope that we're going to go get our Christmas tree. So that if we do, we'll be sure to take you along with us. And it seems like, can you believe December's here? I can't believe it. So then I'm like, oh my goodness, counting down the days. So I hope that we can do that. We can get our Christmas tree this week. And still worried about where to put it. One baby's on the move. Woodrow's not, but Ira's on the move. So we're going to have to figure out how to keep him out of it. But I'm sure we will. Sure, we'll figure it out. So that could be another one. And then I'm not sure what else. Maybe we'll get it decorated. That would be great. Have it all decorated. If you've been with us for a few years, you remember that one year I would use like real red and real green and real white, like those Christmas colors. And then the next year I use like gold and maroon and like a hunter green. And so I think, is the gold year. I'm gonna have to go back to my pictures. I have to do that every year and remember which it is, but I think it's the gold year. A lot of you, we've been listening to Christmas music. I even listened to it when I was cooking for Thanksgiving. I would had it playing on my phone there, listening to it. So a lot of you have purchased Paul and Pap's Christmas CD. I hope that you're really enjoying it. It is such a good. It's just those old, just the classic ones, and they done such a good job on it. I'll put the link there in case though anybody does want to pick one up. And then also thinking about Christmas, I'll share it again, the playlist with Christmas readings. So if you're in the mood to hear a Christmas story there, you can check there. And I'll put all these links in the description below. Another thing that we're talking about, those the seeds, thinking about next year, a lot of people have still been asking me about the calendars. We do have those back in stock now for 2025. The almanac, it's just a plain almanac calendar like you probably remember your grandparents having. And again, I always tell people, look in your area. You may find them for free. I look at the feed stores, banks, funeral homes, insurance companies, all those kind of things that give out a calendar. Sometimes that's the one they're giving out and you could just get it for free. And then we did list mugs again yesterday. A lot of people asking about the mugs, so I'll put that there. There's still a few left this morning, so if you're interested in that, you can find them there. You can also, at the same link there with the mugs, you can find our cookbook. Mine and Jim Cassidy's cookbook continues to sells well, and people are saying they really enjoy it. So, and I didn't even think about it during our Thanksgiving video. The deer roast that Matt made is in there, and the sweet potatoes, I think, are in there. And I didn't even say that. I forget about it, but you can check that out at that same link. And I'll add Katie's link. Let's see, what am I wearing today? Oh yeah, a Katie necklace. I never remember after I put it on. Not her earrings. Those earrings are old. But a Katie necklace. You can look at there at Katie's Stamy Creek Creations Etsy shop. She's been making some really beautiful things. Of course, she always does. Last week, Paul, for his videos that he put up some really good ones. Of course, the train series is over. That one's over. But I suspect that, you'll still see Caleb and Doyle in some videos. Actually, Paul shared one with Doyle, one of his original songs. You can find that on the Blind Pig and the Acorn YouTube channel. And then also, Paul, this was a song that I don't think I've ever heard it before. Who's Gonna Shoe Your Pretty Little Feet? It's a really old song, and Paul tells the history of it. It was really fascinating, and of course, he does it a beautiful job. Now, it's a tearjerker. It's a really sad song, like an old ballad, but it's really, really something. I had heard this one, but it had been a long time, the other one that he shared, and I had forgot about it, but boy, I really like it. Brasstown Boy. You might know why I like that one, because I'm partial to Brasstown. But it was our dear friend Sam Inslee Sr. His son Sammy is still here, but Sam passed away, but was a great friend of our family, really encouraged our music, and fascinating man. But he made the music. He wrote the music, and the lyrics were by Jane Atkin. So that was a really great one that Paul shared last week. And Jamie Shook helped him on that one. So you can hear some great harmony if you go to listen to that one. And then also this one was from last year, but thinking about Christmas, I thought I'd share it. That's Silent Night with Paul and Granny last year at Christmas. And you can see how dear Granny looks in that video, and her crocheted stuff that she's got on. And I wasn't sure if I was going to say something or not, but now that I've said that, I have to say it now, Donna. We got some bad news about Granny last week. She's been fighting the cancer. Everything's been clear and they just keep checking to make sure. Well, it's her last test didn't come back good. So you can keep a good thought for Granny and say a prayer for her. At this time, they're not going to. It's just she has other health issues, so it's kind of precarious situation. Not really going to do anything, but just kind of monitor her and see how things go. So you can keep a good thought for Granny, and she wouldn't mind if I told you, because of course you can pray. That's good. You can pray. Pray for her, but it was not a good report that we got there last week for Granny. Another thing, since we're right now talking about Christmas, I'll go ahead and share. I wanted to share some links about of course, we're still praying and trying to help the flood victims. So I've shared that one a couple of times. That's the Facebook. You have to join the group, but it's for Western North Carolina Holiday Hope, Thanksgiving, and Adopt a Family for Christmas. So you can go there and see different people that are requesting help for this or that for the holidays, and the pace, you can read more about it on that page, but they are vetted. Like, these people have been vetted, and they're real people and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure there's probably a Facebook page like that, or an organization doing the same for Tennessee, and maybe even for Virginia and South Carolina, Georgia, West Virginia, Florida, all those that were hit. So if you know that, please put that in the description there, that or in the comments. That would be great. We really appreciate that. And then I've been sharing about Deep River Farm, the work that they're doing. Here's his channel there. And then also, though, really, and you can go there to see, he's been talking. Now he's in the phase of where, and I'm going to put the link to their website where they explain what they've done. So now they're in the stage of actually helping families. And again, they vetted these people, and these are kind of people, they explain this, he does, that, they've kind of fallen through the cracks. They're not well off enough just to say, well, my house got washed away, but I'm financially good and I can replace it. But they're not really on the bottom end either, where they would qualify for aid. So they're kind of in the middle. And you can find out more about that on the site and by watching Wayne's videos. But now he's in the stage where he's telling some of the stories of the people, of the families they're helping. Now, he doesn't share any names or even where they live or stuff like that. Maybe general location, but not details where they would know. But anyway, it's interesting to hear the backstory of some of them and what they went through, and really rendering, when you think about losing everything. Some of them have worked their whole lives for, paid everything off, and then now they've lost it. And he goes, it's real short, about 15-minute videos, but talking about them, and then of course points you to a place that you could help. So you can hear the actual details of the people that they are helping at this point, and donate if you can. And it's interesting. Wayne says, he understands that everybody's financially not able to help. Pray. I think everybody I've heard in this whole situation, no matter who they are, talking about this, the number one thing you can do is pray, because God's a mighty God and he can help. But also, if you can just, he says, if you can just give a little, you think about if 12,000 people gave $1, like there was one family that just needed $12,000 to cover the repairs, then if 12,000 people gave $1, that one would be. Anyway, but you can find out more about it. And it is it's a bunch of different organizations that's kind of connected together. Churches is what it is. But let's see if I can, here's the link, the actual link that I need to put. So this is the link where you could go to their website and find out much more and donate if you're so led. But I'd watch one of his videos about the families first, because he talks more about making sure that you note where the money you would want it to go to the victims there. So please do that. Another person also connected with that same organization, that same network of people that are trying to help, is Appalachian Navy, and he's interviewed some people and talking about the needs there on his videos. And then the other one that I will leave is the Pastor Tim, who again is part of that network. I will leave his contact information there. Of course, it's not going to let me. Let's see if I can shorten it a little bit. Actually, what I'll do is I'll leave all of that in the description below, but right here I'll just put the Amazon list that they're sharing that goes straight to Pastor Tim there, and then he can help the supplies get to where they're going. And they did get a lot of supplies, so thank you all so much. Thank everyone that donated. And then I think Wayne addressed this in one of the videos. In certain situations, if the people there that didn't if in other words, they got so many heaters that these people have all in our community have all been set up with a heater, they sent them to another community. They sent some to Newland. They sent some to, seems like somewhere else. Anyway, they're making sure that they get there. And like I said, they've just got a network that's really, really efficient. So if you want to check into that, I will go ahead and mention these again. This is the I don't know if it'll let me. Whoops. Let's see if it'll let me get all this. Edward Johnson Auctioneer. They were building the tiny homes for people. It did let me put all that, so you can see their GoFundMe, but you can also go to their Facebook page and find out more about them. Cabins for Christ was another organization that was helping to get people back in homes in a structure instead of a tent. And then there's the Bald Creek Relief in Burnsville. They are continuing to help people there. My home hub is Restoration Church of Disaster Relief. That's in Swannanoa, North Carolina. And that one, I'm going to share that one. That is a place where you could go if you want to help. There's lots of opportunities to help in different ways, but also if you need help, if you're in that area and you need help. So important for that. And of course, then there's the other ones, Samaritan's Purse and North Carolina Baptist, Cajun Navy Relief, and all the others that are still there, still trying to help people in lots of different ways. So continue to pray, though, with these cold temperatures. Pray for them. Pray for discernment for the people in charge to know what to do and how best to help and how to make it easier on the people that are just trying to stay alive. Just pray for all that. And your prayers are greatly appreciated. I know by all those people, they really are. And I've had some of them tell me that they can feel that people's praying and that they know that God's working. So just continue to do that. Okay. I think we're at the Let me look at my little notes here. Maybe at the point where we can talk about the wisdom from last week. Thank you for everybody that keeps doing that. I think it's so important. And some of them are the pieces of wisdom that we've all heard all our lives. But if something's good, you ought to hear it. You ought to just keep hearing it. If it's good, you ought to dwell on it. As a believer, the Bible tells you that those are the things you should dwell on, those things that are lovely and the things that are helpful for sure. So I hope you continue to leave those. So let's see if I can find out where I was last at. So this one was from Susie. Susie says, "My mama used to say, I'd rather be a fool for Jesus than the devil's fool." I've heard a variation of that one, but that's a good one. Thank you, Susie. This one, we were talking the past 2 weeks about kind of minding your own business, always reminds me of the keep your spoon in your own bowl. Harold Chastain, I used to work with at Tri-County, taught me that one. Keep your spoon in your own bowl. And he described it really well. I said, I've never heard that, but that's good. He said, well, you just think about it. If you was eating a big old bowl of peach cobbler and had your ice cream on it and you was just really enjoying it and some old nasty person come up and stuck their dirty spoon right in it, wouldn't you be upset? I said, yeah, that's a good analogy, Harold. So this one was from Linda. Linda said, if I was feeling down and not like I could do things that other people could do to try out for this or to try out for that, my mom would always say, well, you're just as good as anybody. So you get out there and you try. And that helped to build my confidence to know that if they could do it, then I could do it too. That's great, Linda. Great advice from your mother that you just got to try. You got to try. And she's right. Nobody's above anybody else. We're all the same. So that's great, Linda. This was a good one from Tammy. There was one sort of like this last week, which was really, really good. And this one just kind of isn't saying it in a different way. Tammy, this is from Tammy. The first comment in the words of wisdom made me think about one kind of similar. If you bring up my past, you should know Jesus dropped the charges. That one is good, isn't it? He did drop the charges for all of us and continues to for me every day. So this one is from, it's one of those where it cut it off, but Burke, SBR is all I can see of the next one. Words of wisdom. When myself, my daughter, or my granddaughter fall into the trap of gossiping, we check each other by repeating this. 2 places you can stay for free: in your own lane and out of other people's business. That'll snap a gossiping mouth shut real quick. That's another good way to say mind your own business and, worry about your own self, not about somebody else. 2 places you can stay for free: in your own lane and out of other people's business. So I love that. My grandmother used to describe a very frugal person as someone who would skin a flea for its hide and tallow, and that's from Betsy. Someone else left that probably a month or so ago, and I love it. I love it so much. I've never heard it, but skin a flea for its hide and tallow. Now, that's a colorful way of saying that somebody's frugal for sure. Let's see. When as a young child, this is from Christy. When as a young child, I wanted something I knew I couldn't have, usually because we couldn't afford it. My sweet grandmother used to say, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. I've heard that one. I've been told that one too. So thank you for that's one of those good ones that's old, but we need to keep remembering it. This one is from Pam. Pam said, my grandmother always said, the greatest kindness arrives unsolicited. So true. Now, that's one of the ones that is so deep when you think about it that you could just dwell on, study on that, as we would say, for a long time, and it just gets deeper and deeper. The greatest kindness arrives unsolicited. Isn't that so true? Oh, I love that one, Pam. Thank you for sharing it. Wonderful. This one was from Tony. Tony said, hey, Tipper, I come across a couple of motivational thoughts I'd like to share. We don't always have to agree with one another, but it's important that we learn to respect each other. Really good. And another one, spending today complaining about yesterday won't make tomorrow any better. That's a good one. Thank you, Tony. So many of us, we can get so hung up, and I'm guilty of it too, about worrying about things that happened in the past, that they're the past. I can't do anything about them. I can't undo them. I can't go back and wish somebody had done something different, and I need to worry about today and tomorrow. This one's from Rhonda Butler. Here's something I read this morning. Your strength in heaven is not measured by what you can do. Your strength is measured by how you endure the weakness of others. That's another one that's really deep, really deep. Rhonda says that was an eye opener for me. Blessings to you and your family. Thank you, Rhonda. This one was from Annette. Annette said, for words of wisdom, Dad took his 4 kids outside and sat on the step. He reached down and picked up a stick. He easily broke it between his fingers and said, see how easy that was to break? He then picked up 6 sticks and tried to break the bunch. He said, this group of sticks ain't so easily broken. He said, when a family unites, it can't be broken. It starts at home and spreads through the neighborhood, then the community, and keeps going. I've thought of that so many times lately. That is really wonderful, Annette, and does show the strength of the family. I really love that analogy. Your daddy was a very smart man to show it like that for kids. That's great. Let's see. That may be all. I think that's all. So y'all have to leave some more for us to talk about next week. Wonderful wisdom, and I'm so glad all of you are sharing. And I'm thank you for all the prayers, and I'm continuing to pray too. That one week we had all those prayer requests in the chat, and there's been others, and I try to pray for all of you, the needs that you share, whether it's related to sickness, caregiving, taking care of your parents and other people, your spouse, and your grandchildren and wayward children and everything. I try to pray for all of it. And I know you do too. And I appreciate all of you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. I'll be seeing you in the videos, but I'll see you next Monday too, if the Lord's willing. And I love you all. Bye bye.